Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Gamer Symphony Orchestra at UMD panel. Thank you all so much for coming. I'm Hojin, the current vice president of the GSO.
I'm IJ. I'm an officer at large.
I'm Chase. I'm one of the two choir directors.
I'm Matt. I'm one of the two orchestra co-conductors. You saw me up there in the video.
I'm Sarah, and I am the public relations director.
And we are the Gamer Symphony Orchestra. So I'll start with a brief introduction of who we are. So the Gamer Symphony Orchestra at University of Maryland, or the GSO, is the first collegiate orchestra dedicated to performing video game music. We were founded in 2005 by the lovely Michelle Ang, who is in that corner over there in the green shirt. And since then, we've grown from 6 to 130 members since then. So we rehearse hard to bring our best to our concerts, as you see over here. And as my co-panelist Chase will mention later on, we've had the privilege to perform at incredible locations, such as the Smithsonian and the Kennedy Center, the Millennium Stage. We focus hard on musicality as performers, but in the end, we're all just a bunch of nerds who love video games and love music. We built a community in person and online where we're free to talk about school, memes, games, anime, and it's amazing. All the music we perform is arranged by our own members, too. Our concerts are free, and we have absolutely no dues. We just want to share our passion for video game music. I'll pass it on to Sarah for a brief history of the GSO.
Much of what I'm going to be covering right now will be covered more in detail by our other panelists, but here I'm going to give you a brief timeline of how we were founded and how we've grown since then. So the Gamer Symphony Orchestra was founded by Michelle Ang over there in 2005. She was a violist in the UMD Repertoire Orchestra, which is the orchestra intended for non-music majors in our school. Started recruiting members in the UMD Repertoire Orchestra and was officially recognized as a student group in 2006, in which we had our first 3 concerts. We had approximately 20 members at that time. One interesting tidbit is that in the fall of 2006, we opened for Rocky Horror Picture Show in the Hoff Theater at Stamp Student Union, so I think that's a fun little thing. In the spring of 2007 was our start of Gaming for Life, which was at that time called Deathmatch for Charity. We since then changed the name.
We had to.
And the fall of 2007 was the introduction of our lovely choir over here. Before then, we did have a Halo piece in which we had singers involved, but the one fun little fact is that it was actually our brass section that sang that part. In the fall of 2008, that next year, was our first concert in the Clarice H. Smith Performing Arts Center, which is where we have our concerts today. We had it in a smaller theater at the time. And at that very semester, our logo, Rasputin, was born. And in the spring of... Not the duck.
Oh, not the duck. That's Rodriguez.
In spring of 2010, we've grown to 100 members and started using the Clarice's largest performing arts venue, the Dekelboum Concert Hall, in which we have our concerts to this day. In the spring of 2012, that was our first Smithsonian performance, and we've performed as part of the Art of Video Games exhibit. That was our first time performing outside of just UMD. And we had our second Smithsonian performance in the spring of 2015, which was part of the Watch This Revelations in Media Arts. And the spring of 2016 was our special 10-year anniversary concert, since we're talking about special concerts, in which we performed alongside the Baltimore GSO and the Washington Metropolitan GSO, both founded by GSO alumni. And finally, I'm going to cover in the spring of 2018, was our performance at the Kennedy Center on the Millennium Stage as a part of Direct Current. That is our most recent part in which we performed outside of men's. So somehow we went from a 20-member group at UMD to a nearly 120-member group who had recently performed in the Kennedy Center. The fact that we've grown so much is incredible. Now I'll pass it off.
Okay, so again, I'm Matthew. I'm one of the co-conductors. Actually, our other co-conductor, Sam, is right over here. You can see him in the video right there, I think. So thank you. As Sarah noted, we are completely student-run. So all the people that you're seeing playing here are also taking full load of classes and doing everything else they have to do as students. So the fact that they have this time and dedication is really inspiring to me, and was one of the main reasons I moved to become one of the conductors, was because of the people in this organization. We meet once a week, always on Sunday, for our rehearsals in the band room where the marching band practices at UMD. And then on Thursdays sometimes we have rehearsals then too. So it's a pretty decent time commitment for the students at UMD to also be able to come and play music. I think we're going to touch on this from other panelists, but we all really love video games, as Hojin says. We're a bunch of nerds that like to play video games. But we also really like the music in video games, because I think a lot of us who have played video games here know, because we're at a convention for video game music, that the music that you hear in a video game really is a major part of the experience. And I don't think video games would be the same without it. So, just Chase, do you want, Hojin, do you want to add anything about how we organize our rehearsals?
Yeah, sure. So, as Matt mentioned, we're all student-run, and that means that we have leadership as well within the organization. So, just like any other student org at a college, we have a president, vice president, secretary, treasurer. But since we've grown to such a size and we have such a passion for what we do, we have people dedicated to specifically running tech and streaming our concerts. We have people dedicated to PR. We have people dedicated to organizing fundraisers, also socials. And together we have an officer board of around 20 people, which is really large. But it's because of this officer board that things run smoothly and we have fun while doing so. And we organize rehearsals, if any of you are interested or are in college right now wanting to start your own GSO, by contacting our student government, looking for funding that way, and then reserving rooms for rehearsals and for concerts as well. And I'll pass it off to the next panelist.
So one of the really cool things about the Gamer Symphony Orchestra is that all of our arrangements are created by members of the orchestra and alumni of the orchestra. So a lot of us create our arrangements through, there's a free music notation program called MuseScore, and that's one that most people use. Some of us use Sibelius. That costs a bit of money, but some of us will go for that, for the added quality of like that music program. But a lot of us will use MuseScore to create our arrangements, and it just is a process of like listening to songs over and over and over again, and just trying to notate what's written there, or in some cases when you're trying to notate a song that's not explicitly like an orchestra song, you might have to do some of your own like arranging yourself, where you're taking parts and putting them for different orchestra instruments. But it's really as simple as just booting up MuseScore, finding out like we would be able to tell you like what instruments we have available, and just starting to write. Some people will start smaller with, we have a choir and we will sometimes do a cappella pieces. That's a good way to start out if you're a bit intimidated by the giant full orchestra that we have. And there are other smaller things that you can do to start out that we'll probably touch on a bit later. In terms of our submission process, everyone, like, if you were to submit an arrangement to us, you would submit it to our music committee, who would then deliberate on it at music selection, where we would decide like which pieces of the new arrangements that we got we would play, and which pieces of old arrangements that we've played before we would bring back to fill in the remainder of our concert. Music committee itself is made up of the 2 choir directors, so myself and my partner Jessica, the 2 orchestra conductors, so Matt and Sam over there, and our vice president, and our music director, Nick, who I do not believe is here. Nope, he's not here. Yeah, and so we would just deliberate over the pieces and decide what things to play. And it's a pretty fun process, and we do that like, we make that kind of like an event where everybody can come and watch us make those decisions if they want to. It's a lot of fun. It takes like forever.
Just to add on to what Chase said, arranging pieces for the GSO is when you basically like listen to video game music, as you said, write down what you would want, and also you can add like your own spin to it. You can make a medley if you want to. You can make a combination of video games from one and another as well. And don't worry about the legality of it, about like any law issues. As long as you don't make money off of these performances, you're good. We checked, no worries.
And we don't charge any ticket prices at all. Our concerts are free admission.
Yeah, we've had to become somewhat mini lawyers about this, because there's certain groups that don't like it when you play the music and charge for it.
But Disney. Kingdom Hearts.
but definitely, I mean, we accept non-arrangements from non-UMD students.
Yeah,
Right.
we have in the past.
Yeah. So, you know, it's always good. I mean, if you're interested in arranging, you know, I mean, like for me, I started jotting down. I mean, if you heard the Pokemon medley that was getting played when you walked in, some of you, I arranged that, and I started doing that in like 2014 in my apartment in New York, not thinking I would ever actually get to play it in an orchestra. So you never know when you might be able to play the arrangement that you write, so start now. And it really depends on what kind of arrangement you want to make at the beginning. Because if you're doing something like 8-bit music, you have to fully expand it into an orchestra. So that requires a lot different kinds of arrangement than say maybe taking like a song from a newer game, like a Final Fantasy 15, which is already sort of prearranged for an orchestra, and then just kind of clipping that together. I would definitely say, you know, music theory is a big part of arrangement. So if you have any interest in music at all, you know, look online for some music theory classes.
But it's also not necessarily a mandatory thing. Like, I don't know all that much about music theory, and I'm submitting like 5 arrangements this semester, and I would like to think they're all pretty good.
That's true. You could have an innate talent for arrangement too.
We have actually accepted some arrangements from people not explicitly like members of our orchestra or alumni of our orchestra, or just people like friends of our orchestra. We've actually, in a couple of past instances, we've gotten actual arrangements of songs directly from the composers. For instance, at our most recent Kennedy Center performance, we played a arrangement of Apotheosis from Journey, and we got that arrangement specifically from Austin Wintory, and it was a really amazing like thing that we were able to do.
And I believe we played Baba Yetu from Civ 4, and we also got the arrangement directly from Christopher Tin.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have some email contacts.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. One thing we do outside of our main orchestra performances is we have a concert specifically for small ensembles. Our small ensemble concert is a cool thing where a bunch of people within the orchestra will get together on their own time to work on a song that maybe like 4 people will play, like a 4-person song or like a 6-person song, just like, or like a duet or a solo, just a smaller group than our giant orchestra. And we have a audition process for a concert specifically dedicated to those small ensemble performances. And we even will then put some of the best ones from that concert into our actual main concert, which Hojin was one of the ones who got in our most recent main concert with, you got in twice for small ensembles, right? Yeah.
Hojin is good. He's good.
Yeah. Anybody else got anything they want to say about small ensembles, or?
Well, you mean, did you mention that the existence of it?
Yeah.
They're really fun.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
We all have been like, a lot of us have been in various different small ensembles in the past. It's a really good time, and if you want to arrange something for maybe a smaller group of people, just as you're like starting out, that's another good way of like doing it, is specifically working to try to arrange a small ensemble and then coordinate people to play it with you.
Yeah, because not every video game soundtrack is really suited for a full orchestra. There are plenty that it would sound better with a jazz combo or a metal band, and we've had both of those and more. So, you know, it's a way to really be more inclusive of all sorts of genres of video game music.
Yeah. Now, some of the things we've gotten to do in the past is we've gotten to do some special performances like the ones that Sarah had mentioned earlier. Specifically, most recently in spring of 2018, we got to perform at the Kennedy Center, the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts in DC, which was a huge opportunity for us. It was a really big honor to be able to get to play there. And it was a lot of work on our part because we had to prepare an entire like set list for that concert. That happens like months before our usual concerts, because we usually have concerts around the end of each school semester. But that concert was like in the middle of one, basically. And we had to work on trying to actually secure the rights for each of the songs that we were using at that concert, because it was more of a legal issue than our regular concerts where...
Yeah, the Kennedy Center put up a bit more of a fight than...
Yeah, they sure did.
UMD did.
We got a lot of them. and it worked. But like the performance went really well. It's on YouTube. I believe it's on Kennedy Center's YouTube channel. If you want to check that out at a later point. But it was a really fun concert to do. We got to perform on a lot of amazing songs in a really amazing venue. We've also played at the Smithsonian in the past, which was that was quite a while ago. But it was a lot of fun doing that too, where we got to perform in like big courtyard in the Smithsonian. It was, yeah. Anybody else got anything to say about that, or we'll move on to the next thing?
Chase, if somebody were a UMD student and wanted to join the orchestra, what would the process be like for that?
So in order to join our orchestra, we first off, you need to like let us know that you wanted to join the orchestra, and then after that, we have a audition process for most of our instruments. That's usually run by the orchestra conductors and our orchestra manager.
Yeah.
So if you want to talk
I can
about
touch on that. Yeah. So we do audition, and so recently, we've implemented a new audition process where we have people. Because we used to have people come in and play a song that they were good at and rehearse, but we're trying to, our new mission of this year is to up the musicianship quality of the GSO. So what we did was we wanted to say, can the people coming in play the repertoire that we have right now? So we gave people, we sat it with the subset of the music committee, we selected excerpts from the piece, and we had people rehearse that part from, usually a harder part of the piece that they'll play. For example, for the canto medley, where the horns are doing the trumpet thing from Fire Red or Leaf Green, if you ever played that, we had people play. We had trumpet auditionees play that part, which is hard. So and then on top of that, I mean, so being able to practice music in and come in with a rehearsed part is a big part of being successful in an orchestra. The other part is really sight reading, because when you sit down for the first time in rehearsal, you've never seen the music before, and you still have to have a functional rehearsal to play at. So being able to sight read on the first rehearsal is big, so we had a sight reading part that we also gave people to do on the audition day. Some people were really good at sight reading, some people were really good at rehearsing parts. Both are valid.
And while we do focus a lot on musicality, we do also have a social side, which I think our panelist IJ will talk more about as well.
Yeah, and I also wanted to add that our inductees to the orchestra are interviewed as well. Not for any sort of harsh judgment, but we want to actually get to know everybody. And I think that's what makes the GSO a really special organization that we're so enthusiastic about, is that we're not just here to achieve a goal of making music. Yeah, that is our purpose, sure, but we provide a really rich social life for our members. I remember the first rehearsal I attended, I was just really surprised at how warm and welcoming everybody was, and how they actually seemed very happy to see me. And that's, for a lonely college student, especially when you're like just into college, that's kind of one of the scariest things. But after every rehearsal, we do have a dinner. We're lucky enough to be near a couple restaurants, and if you have some time afterwards, we go out for dinner. I think after rehearsal bonding, or other organizations I've been in, after training bonding, whatever you have, is really useful for getting to know your ensemble mates. For me, that's, and actually I think Sarah will confirm this too, is that I would not have run for any officer position if I had not gone to these dinners and gotten to know how things worked. We're pretty good at transparency that way as well, so our officer meetings are open to everybody. Our music selection is open to everybody. We're not, even if you do have an officer position, it doesn't sort of give you any illusion of being elite. You know, we're all trying to work towards the same things. Besides like the after rehearsal dinners every time, we also have regular socials throughout the semester. We have plenty of study socials around midterms and finals, and I think that attests to how we, even though we do spend a lot of time on our music, we do want to support our members in their academics. We're not trying to deprioritize that, for sure. You know, plenty of us are taking incredibly hard courses, so we like to support each other.
Comp sci is really hard.
There's a lot of comp sci.
There's a lot of comp sci.
I'm not one of them.
Yeah, we definitely stress that the academics come first before the GSO even though we have a lot of fun with the GSO, and I think a lot of people consider the GSO their sort of social sphere, which is really, really awesome.
That's exactly what it is for me, basically.
Yeah, I mean, with 130 members.
Just to add on a little bit to the interview process, it is a really good point that I forgot to mention, that it is important that people share the same passion that the rest of the members of the orchestra have. So we do ask them, like, what's your favorite video game? And we have a secret question that we ask people from the Pokemon series that I can't reveal. But,
I will.
But their answer uniquely determines whether they get in or they don't get into it. I can't tell. If I told you what this question was, it wouldn't be secret. No.
I would like to clarify something that what my co-panelist said earlier. Not all of us play video games. There are a few of us who are just geeks in general about other things and get along well with other geeks. Our choir conductor, who's a wonderful conductor and musician, considers herself an otaku. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Okay. But does just generally not play video games at all. And there's no sort of none of that. I would consider again toxic elitism culture of being the best at video games. No, plenty of us are bad at them or just don't play them. I'm very bad. So kidding. But yeah, other social events that we've had. We're planning a formal next semester. It'll be our very first formal. We had a barbecue. We have movie nights. We have Discord in order to talk about such serious things as arrangements or just silly memes, or find.
There are many memes.
We meme a lot. Yeah.
We meme a lot.
Too many.
Or find co-op partners. Yes, so many.
We have for Halloween, we all dress up in cosplay.
That's the tradition, yeah. And before
for rehearsal.
Yeah, we like to dress
That was
up a
Mario.
lot.
We have many in-jokes.
He was Luigi.
I see this bullet point on our list of things to talk about that says everyone dabs on stage except Matt to spite him.
Yeah, so I banned dabbing recently for all rehearsals. Which as you can
people are leaving now because of you. People are leaving.
Had the exact opposite. Yeah, this. They think they're not. They think something's not coming back to them, but it's gonna happen. Yeah, it was, not over my.
I suggested that at one point.
Over my dead body.
Yeah.
Over my dead body. There we go.
So I think we've given you a pretty good picture of how we are as a social group, and the truth is that we are very diverse, but we are all geeks, and we all love music. I'd like to move on and talk about our community outreach work and our charity work, unless anyone has anything to add. Cool. Every semester, as was mentioned, we have an event called Gaming for Life, which is formerly called Deathmatch for Charity, and it is a game night that involves a few tournaments, but mostly just casual gaming, and the purpose is to raise donations for Children's National Hospital. The past few semesters, I don't actually remember the numbers, but we did break some personal records, so I'm very happy
do you remember
about
how
that.
much? It was like 900?
Yeah, so with Gaming for Life, we raised around $600 this semester, $700 the previous semester, and around that range as well. So we're raising roughly $1,100, $1,200 for Children's National every single year by just playing video games and by just having donations.
Yeah, we definitely would like to continue that, but we're also interested in more philanthropy and more community outreach work in general. Do you want to elaborate on that, or should I go on?
I can take it.
Go ahead.
So, in addition to Gaming for Life, we also look for other opportunities to share our passion with video game music with the community. So we look to perform at local cafes with very small ensembles that we have. We look to perform and do community work with other performances in other locations that people offer up to us as well, such as in board game nights, for example. And while we don't have that many direct fundraisers for other charities at the moment, we're always looking. So this will conclude our section, with the lecture section of this panel, and then now we're going to go into the Q&A part. I would like to say very briefly, we're so thankful to have the opportunity to come up here, speak to you guys, speak to people who have the same passion as us for video game music. And I hope you all learn a little thing or two about video game music, about orchestra, about collegiate organizations. If you do have any questions, please feel free to ask. And yeah, if you want to start a GSO, please talk to us or Michelle Ng in the green shirt over there. And yeah, we are opening the microphone for questions.
Yeah, so everybody go form a lineup at the microphone if you've got any question for us. We accept meme questions.
Yeah, and
I said
on,
meme, not mean. Don't
and
be
to
mean.
build on Hojin's point, if you have any other outreach ideas that you want to bring up to us, we're open to come up and talk to us afterwards.
Right. Right. Yeah. First question.
Hi. Okay, so I'm a member of the Washington Metropolitan Gamer Symphony Orchestra.
And he used to be with
here.
us.
Yes.
Proud alum of the UMGSO. In fact, I'm the chorus director emeritus. So, but I do have a question for you guys, and I just thought of it because WM just had a town hall, and someone asked, "What are your?" Someone asked, like the management, like the officers, like, what's your vision? What's your like grand dream venue to play at? And our conductor said the BBC Proms. So I'd like to ask the same question to all of you. What is your dream venue or dream performance that you guys would like to see the UMGSO doing in the future? If not even like anywhere close to it, just like, what's your dream performance?
I know for a fact, because I've been thinking about this, and it's Lincoln Center. I mean, I think if we played at Lincoln Center, that would be the bee's knees. And we were somewhat in contact with them, but we're still. I mean, I'm going to give it my all to try to make that happen. But for me, it would definitely be Lincoln Center.
BBC Proms sounds really nice, so that'd be very sick if we could have the opportunity to go there. But in the end, we're all just like looking to share what we want and what we love to do. So anything that is a reputous like location, anything that's on TV, that'd be amazing. And I think that would really help with our vision of what to do as well.
Mine's less of like, I just thought of this now because I had not thought of that ever before at this point. But mine's less of a place and more of a situation, and I think it would be really, really awesome to get like some of the arrangements that I've made and some of the arrangements that like other people that I know have made to be performed in front of like the actual like composers, and to get like their sort of like.
That happened at a MAGFest. Chris Apple's arrangement of The Promised Land was performed in front of Nobuo Uematsu.
Oh.
That's super awesome.
Yeah, so it can happen.
That would be super awesome if I could make that happen at some point.
It happened at a MAGFest too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aren't you guys performing on Saturday? That's a different chance.
Yeah, that's not us, unfortunately.
Well, if you asked me a year ago, I would have said Kennedy Center, but it already happened.
Oh, yeah, so next question, please.
Hi, so my name's Dave, and I'm from the Montclair Gamer Symphony Orchestra. We're performing with these guys on Saturday, so it's going to be a fun time. Two questions for you, one directed to the choir director here. Oh. We have had trouble trying to recruit singers. We've got a nice 8-person strong choir currently that we've managed to do amazing things with, but honestly, recruiting singers has been difficult, and we were just wondering if you had any suggestions about that. And second question, a more fun one, is what would you consider the absolute limits of, by association, music you would be willing to play with the orchestra? Like, for me, my example for that is I believe that we could do the a cappella Carmen Sandiego theme, because those were a series of video games. Thank you, this guy gets it.
We just had an internal debate about this.
Yeah,
so,
we did.
Like, just had an internal. So I mean, we can open the debate up into the audience and have each other. But,
as for the question about choir recruitment, I'm gonna be honest. Like, we're working on trying to like up our choir recruitment game as well, because we had a little bit of fallout in the past couple of, not fallout, but like a little bit of drop in like numbers in the past like semester or two. But we essentially do a lot of our own recruitment at the University of Maryland First Look Fair, where basically at the beginning of like every fall semester, there's like a big like throughout the like mall of UMD, basically like all of the clubs will go there and like be like, hey, we exist, join our clubs. And we do a lot of our recruitment there, and some semesters are better than others in terms of recruitment, in terms of specifically like choir. Sometimes we get a lot of people, and other times we don't get as much. But it's we're working on it too. So.
Could I add to the choir question? So I'm the section leader for the soprano section in the choir, and yeah, we have the same problem. Maybe we have more people than 8, but we do have a hard time, if not recruiting singers, balancing our choir. We get a lot of bass, and not.
We just lost our last bass.
I'll trade you some.
We had a soprano issue.
We have like 7 or 8, so if you want some.
Version of that.
Yeah, pretty much. We did. So I was a soprano section leader. At the beginning of the semester, did not have anyone else in my section, but through word of mouth, we got to recruit more members, and I know that word of mouth is not a very satisfying answer, but that's what worked for us.
Yeah. Part of our difficulties, we are we are not tied to a university. We are a community orchestra. So.
One thing, I'm in charge of the First Look Fair and advertising for our recruitment, and one thing I do note is that because choir, it's relatively difficult to get more choir members. That's one of the things that I emphasize when I'm like pitching the orchestra to new members. And I often have somebody with me to help me recruit, and I pretty much prioritize like getting a choir person there to help me out, because I'm personally am a violinist, not a choir person. So I guess like when doing the recruiting, like big emphasis on choirs, how I've been doing things.
Yeah, I mean, being at a university is a blessing and a curse, because we both have students that are taking full credit loads, but we also have access to the entire student body of UMD. So there's that.
Oh, did you have a question?
Yeah. All right, so I'm Matt, and I just love video game music in general, but my issue is I still feel like it's a little weird sometimes sharing that, like, oh, I actually prefer listening to video game music over most other, popular music a lot of people listen to. And it's not because I think that other music is bad, I just like how experimentative it can be and how varied what I can get out playing video games is. And I saw in the guidebook somewhere how you guys are kind of, obviously being younger people like I am too, you're helping push forward the mainstream visual of like video game music. So I wanted just to know more about how you guys really try to push it forward as like something that's more like, look at this isn't just, oh, it's video games, just ignore it. This is really important musical, work being done that's really varied and different from what a lot of people listen to.
Thank you for this question, because it actually brings up a really important point that we didn't get to touch on while we were talking. And that's really the mission statement of our GSO, and I assume many others, is that we're trying to promote the art of video game music as not just something that goes on in video games, but as a legitimate art form in itself. So our performances are meant to show people that when we're saying, oh, I love to hear video game music, like you're saying, that we're not just saying like, oh, this is like a weird habit, and like don't mind me. It's like, you should listen to what I'm saying, because this music is actually respectable. And so, like for me, I've been listening to the Final Fantasy 13 soundtrack on repeat constantly.
That is one of my absolute favorite soundtracks.
And I will defend Final Fantasy 13 on that hill. I will die on that hill. So if anybody wants to fight me on that one,
you'll have me with you.
Okay, it's good to have. But absolutely, on your point is exactly what we're all about. I mean, so we had some people come at the last concert that were parents of the students, and they came up to me and they're like, wow, like, I can't believe this is what video game music is. Like, I know my son or daughter or whatever, they play video games, and I had no idea like that this kind of music was in the video games, and now maybe like I'm gonna start listening to it. Like, that's the thing I want to hear when we have the concerts. I want to hear the parents come up to me and be like, wow, we shouldn't have been criticizing our kid for listening to this video game music this long. For me, that's the victory.
Yeah. Something I also think is really incredible about video game music and how it's like kind of trending is because as you grow up, as you play your own video games, you start like, when you listen to video game music, from that you hit such nostalgia with what you hear and what you associate that to, like those feelings of like joy when you play a video game as a kid. And what's incredible is that as you grow up and as you keep on going, for example, we play like Dragon Roost from like Wind Waker, but then like right after that we play like Tetris, like Korbe Niki, the original Russian folk song, and like all the old people go like, "Wow, that's like incredible."
Because that's like, yeah.
So you hit different age groups, you hit all kinds of audiences, and I truly do think that's one of the reasons why it's like so amazing. And although we can't really take credit for starting that idea, we are very proud to keep up that tradition.
Yeah, I agree. I think video game music is quickly becoming a cultural touchstone in the way a lot of, say Michael Jackson songs might be.
Yeah.
It's that important. It's growing that way. I mean, a lot of people, you'd see the Zelda theme or Mario, core Super Mario's theme. A lot of people, our parents will just know that right off the bat. So I think thanks for doing your part, I guess, in your own special way about pushing it through the orchestra side of things, making video game music more widely accepted and think about it as something more important than what a lot of people think.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. So your question?
Yeah. So my name is Dean. It's nice to see all your members are coming to this. I'm one of the founders and conductor of Rochester's Gamer Symphony Orchestra here. It's nice to see you guys. You guys are kind of, are really, is the inspiration of what really brought our group together. We're about, 3 years old now, so always going strong, and it's nice to see you guys are, 14 years? About even? It's crazy. But I guess the question I want you guys to kind of delve deeper into is your recruiting process. And the only reason why I say this is because when we started my group, of course we're respecting such a small number, but how colleges usually work out for clubs is that they always ask for no recruiting. You always want to accept the students that is within the college. And there's no audition process. You have to kind of let them join, and so forth. Now, for you guys are huge. You guys will love to have so many members, but you guys have a limit. Same thing with us as too. Our group is becoming huge to the point that our stage doesn't fit us, and we don't want to go towards auditions, mainly due to the fact that we have a similar mission statement as you guys. We want to accept or allow everyone to perform this kind of music because it's enjoyable and so forth. So did you guys start with an audition process? No, so you guys...
We added that after a long period of time.
So how did you guys kind of went towards this whole audition process, or how did you guys work towards that? Because for us, that's our issue right now with
It's sort of like a curve. So you get to some word of mouth popularity that people will come to you to audition. We have people that we auditioned this semester that said they came to UMD because of the GSO. So people in high school know about us. So
it's the same with us as well.
Yeah. But that's awesome. Yeah. So for many years, we didn't have auditions, though. And I think you just have to, in my opinion, you just have to get to the point where you have enough people that want to play video game music that are also talented, and then you can also just accept the people that you think will be the best fit for the orchestra. So it really is a balance between you wanting new members and the musicianship level of the orchestra that you're trying to achieve. And I think what particular intersection point of that curve is might be unique to your orchestra. But I'm sorry, are you trying to recruit new members, or are you trying to...
We're worried of getting too much. We're worried because the problem, or at least what our issue is that our group is so we have about 70 members right now, which is great. Don't get me wrong, it's great to have that such a big number. But one, we don't have a stage that fits so much. And two, we're expecting a lot more, especially with fewer people graduating and a lot of freshmen going to join in, especially with you guys wanting to recruit more. We want to recruit more as well. But the issue is that we don't have that space. Right. So so we're trying to figure out, one of our ideas was having a 2-band system. You guys have co-conductors now. I was the only conductor in the group. We're thinking of having a 2-band system, more of a beginner and advanced. Another idea is having auditions, but we don't want to do that because that kind of ruins our mission statements. So what do you guys think?
I mean, I personally don't see auditions as being counter to the mission statement of promoting video game music. I mean, you have a lot of orchestras that are, that actually sell tickets, that play Carnegie Hall, like the Zelda orchestras and the Final Fantasy orchestras, and they have auditions. So I don't think I don't think that these two concepts of auditions and the mission statement are counter.
So I have a couple of points. That was a great question, by the way. That's a concern that I think
it definitely breaks my heart to have to do auditions.
Yeah, that's the same with my group as well.
Yeah.
So something that I think we also contemplated was that auditioning isn't really a weed out system. It's more like helping everybody feel like that they belong in the orchestra. It's another layer of that responsibility as well. So not saying that you need to do auditions or anything, but it has worked for us to up our musicianship as well as like connect that with the sense of responsibility and that sense of like belonging that you in the orchestra. Something that we also promote is like being part of the community, but not being part of the orchestra. For your example, you said that space and like the space on the stage is a big limitation, right?
Yes.
So it's not possible to like extend the stage, but I feel like if you do have to like put a cap on your members, then you can also like encourage people to join like a Discord, for example, that everybody can join in, or be on the Facebook page where everybody can just meet up for socials and stuff, and that'll help them still be a part of the GSO, but it'll help abate that the issue that you might be facing.
Yeah. To elaborate on the exclusivity thing, I'm in a separate choir outside of GSO that is auditioned, but no one has ever been rejected. And I think that auditioning, like Hojin said, helps you feel like you belong, but also helps to know, get everyone to know what kind of players they're working with. So I mean, so for example, sound blending, getting to know the sound of each individual member so that you can figure out where you're standing in a choir. That's really important. And an audition is not always a yes or no process. I don't think it makes us more exclusive.
Now, with all of that said, it was certainly, like when we had initially decided to start implementing the audition process, it was certainly a controversial decision within our own officership. We had a very large discussion about like whether or not we wanted to do it, or like how we were going to change our current system, or like what we were going to do. But in the end, that was the thing we had we eventually had decided that doing the audition system would end up being a net positive. And for the record, which I don't know if we had explicitly stated this, while we do emphasize our musicianship a lot in our audition process, that's not really the only thing we actually that's not the only thing that we check for there too. We also try to get to know people, see how well they would fit within the community of our own people, see how dedicated and passionate they are to the idea of our group, or our group specifically, and that sort of thing. So it doesn't necessarily have to all be about musicality. And yeah, it was it was hard for us to make that decision at the time too.
Totally understand. Thank you, guys, for your wonderful answers. Thank you.
Thank you, Dee.
Thank you.
Okay. Do you have a question as well?
Yeah, my question's a little bit more practical. I'm not affiliated with a GSO. They didn't have those when I was in college. I'm too old for that now, I guess. But you said you accept arrangements from really anywhere they come from. So does that mean you guys have a library somewhere where someone can see what you already have? So they don't write you a fourth copy of Liberi Fatali?
Yeah, you can just email us.
We have a website, umd.gamersymphony.org, and on that website we have a listen page, where on that listen page we have audio recordings of all of our concerts going back to 2008 or something. Right. So if you look on that page, you'll be able to see all the arrangements that we have. And in terms of sheet music, if there are other GSOs who hey, we know that you played Dragonborn from Skyrim, because that's one of our most popular pieces that we've done. And we would like to be able to play your arrangement of Skyrim. As long as you contact us and we had talk it out and make sure there was everything was okay with the arranger, or it wasn't going to be a paid for thing or something like that, we would probably just let you have the arrangement.
Yeah, we usually keep the sheet music in between inter GSOs. But in terms of your question, is just about whether you want to know.
Just if I wanted to write an arrangement and I was oh, I wonder if I submitted this to them, would they consider it? I don't want to write something you already have six of in the library.
So we have the website, and we also have, you can email any of either the music director or some of any of the other officers, and we can just check to see if we've done that, and we'll get back to you on that.
Not to mention, sometimes people will write updates to some of our older arrangements. We got a first draft of one really recently of our for our arrangement of Liberi Fatali.
That's a good question. Something to note is also when you, if you do happen to find that you do arranging for a GSO, a lot of them do have email lists called listservs, so groups, email groups where you can see what other people are arranging at the time, and you can post what you have arranged, and people will come and help you with advice, with any feedback. So we are a community that helps as well. We are a community that helps people arrange and help people develop that passion as well.
Right. Nice.
Thank you.
Thanks for the question.
As a side unrelated note, Check out Matt over there singing his heart out.
No,
Team
not.
questions are absolutely
There's some
allowed.
disagreement in the panel here.
Sorry. Yes.
What is your least favorite key signature?
Wait.
Oh, that's mean.
Depends on what instrument,
Least
I
favorite
guess, right?
key signature?
So he can write you a piece in it. Don't tell him. Don't give him the
E sharp major.
C major.
B major.
Clever. Nice dodge.
Anything with a ridiculous amount of sharps in is my least favorite.
The sharpest Fortnite song ever.
Please don't kill us.
Yikes.
All right, hello. So my
Hi,
name is
Beth.
Hi, Beth.
So earlier you said that dabbing is a sin. Why is it a sin, Matthew?
Oh man, this is.
As moderator, I turned down this question.
Yeah, so some things just are, and this is one of them. There's your answer.
All right, if I may do a quick follow-up, it is my final semester coming up, as you may know. Because I am graduating, would you be willing to dab with me, like on video, just like one coordinated dab?
We're on video right now.
We'll talk about this after. I can't
Yes, your
commit to
question.
anything.
Hey Matt, you said that some things just are a sin. Are you saying that it don't always be like that, but sometimes it do?
You see, this is what I was expecting the questions to be like.
So if,
I have no comment to that.
So if there are no other questions, we actually have some frequently asked questions that we can present as well. Sarah, do you mind asking one or two
But yeah,
of them?
sometimes it do be that way.
Yes, I can help. I guess one thing we can talk about is why did you join GSO personally? And what's the appeal that you had for joining it?
We can just go down.
Oh, okay, we're going down the line. I kind of touched on this earlier, but I grew up with video game music as a big part of my life. For me, Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 on the Dreamcast was like big, and I still listen to that when I code, and it's really good, top quality, like background music for coding if you need that. And ever since then, I've started to listen to. I mean, having things on YouTube really helped, and video game music quickly became the music that I jumped to. And unfortunately, I was at UMD for 2 years in the grad program and didn't know about the GSO, and then saw the previous conductor, who is sitting over here, Michael Mitchell, give a TED Talk, and I ran up to him afterwards and almost tackled him and was like, "Let me in this GSO." So I didn't even know about the people yet. So I went in because the music was a big part of my life, and I stayed because the people are like a second family to me now.
Matt had touched on this earlier, but he had said that there are some people who go to UMD specifically for the purpose of trying to join the GSO. I'm one of those people. That happened to me. I was like, I could go to this school, or I could go to the school with the GSO. So that's what happened to me. Yeah.
Wait, real quick, it's because I saw them do Portal 2 Still Alive, and I was like, I want to do that.
And really quickly, so we can get to the person at the mic, I joined because grew up with video games, loved video game music, and it was just a perfect blend of my interest in playing the saxophone and also video games. Oh, yes, your question?
First of all, I just asked the really stupid, did you get in for, because you said
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
It's dumb. It's real dumb.
Oh, no, I'm looking forward to hearing it. Please say it again.
No, he said, yeah.
Like, did you get in when you said that you wanted to go to UMD specifically?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got in. I joined my first semester.
Yeah. But also, so Sonic Adventure 2 especially is one of like my favorite games, mainly for the music. Have you guys performed anything from it before? So much.
So I'm the Sonic guy.
he really is the Sonic. He wrote Big Arms.
I wrote an arrangement
Colors,
of
Sonic Advance 3.
Okay.
There's so much good Sonic music.
I got so much to say.
Why have you done this?
So I've arranged an arrangement of Big Arms from Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Nice.
And I also did a small ensemble arrangement of Supporting Me from Sonic Adventure 2. And I have various different Sonic the Hedgehog music projects that are currently in the works.
But no, I think no is the answer for the Sonic Adventure 2.
Other than that small ensemble, we haven't done a full orchestra piece, but like, I really want to.
It could be. Somebody
like
wants to arrange
really bad.
So just for the WMGSO people in the room, I've been really wanting to do Fly in the Freedom for a small ensemble piece, Rouge's theme. from Sonic Adventure 2.
Okay.
Oh, Flight into Freedom.
Yeah.
I love that song.
Yeah.
Dude.
So just more Sonic music, just as much as
I got you.
Why must you encourage this
I need
man?
to do the edits that I still have to do to my Sonic 06 arrangement, because I've got to, yeah.
He's already thinking about Sonic, and you have to ramp him up.
Awesome. Thank you.
But thank you for the question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think we can thank you guys all so much for coming to our panel. This is actually much more people than we expected.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming.
If you're from another GSO, thank you so much. If you're not from a GSO, thank you so much. If you're interested in starting a GSO, please talk to us. Please
And if you just want to come talk to us after, come talk to us.
Yeah, please feel
Come
free
say
to.
hi. We don't bite.
Yeah.
But yeah, we feel very thankful for coming up here, and yeah, have a good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good
Thank
time.
you.